Yo. What it do, chat? Sorry. I know, we're a bit late this morning. We're a bit late. It's one of those days, I guess. One of those days. Rolled over, thought I hit the old snooze button, man, and apparently I turned my alarm off. So, sorry. Sorry. Could have been worse. I mean, I woke up and it was like, one of those things where it's like, oh God, I'm about to be late. So, it could have been a lot worse. But we're here, and we're a little bit late, but it's not nearly as bad as it potentially could have been, right? So everything's okay. So I do apologize for being a little bit late this morning, but grand scheme of things, man, it could have been much worse. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Sunday. Hope your weekend's going well. Today will be the news, as always, for today, February 26th. Video gaming news for February 26th. And then we'll play day 3 of Bloodstained, Mike. Day 3 of Bloodstained. The game's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. The first boss I fought had some cheese to it. There was some cheese. I actually made a highlight of some a section that was particularly, it was like I would be slid all the way underneath the boss, and then like it would come down and attack, and it would do these attacks that its hitbox from the attack would still clip my character, and it would like even sometimes to the extent of vacuuming me all the way back through the boss and pulling me back through to the other side that I wasn't even on. And you could, it was blatant. You could see the damage where the damage was hitting and coming off my character. It felt pretty bad. It was pretty rough. There were some pretty rough hitboxes coming off of that, the attacks off that box. But I mean, we got to take care of it. It was a little bit malty, but. And we finished off the day yesterday getting double jump, which was another weird boss fight because I was able to loop this boss. Which I made another highlight of this. The boss in the game, I can't remember his name right now, but the boss you fight to get double jump, I was able to loop him out and just basically let my Dullahammer familiars do most of the work for the majority of the battle. Got him into stuck into a loop mechanic, and my familiars just did almost all the work. So I mean, I don't know, it was weird, but the game does feel very good, most of it anyways, and it's a lot of fun. It's very reminiscent of my favorite Metroidvania, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and it's a good time, man. We'll play day 3 of it today. So on that front, let's go ahead and do what we do. Let's get in here and get started on the news. Cool. Yeah. First of all, this is what we're jamming out to. BPM, bullets per minute soundtrack. Yeah, very cool. First-person shooter, roguelike game. Rhythm-based first-person shooter, by the way. Let's not forget that. It's a very, very cool game. Highly recommend it. Got a really cool art style to it too. A lot of cool mechanics in the game, and not to mention the OST is very, very cool too. So if you like what you're listening to, and if that type of gameplay sounds like something you might enjoy, I highly recommend going and checking this game out. All right. Cool. Let's get into the news. Excuse me. We'll take a look at this. Biggest video games releasing this or this coming month. We got 2 days left in February, right? So March is quickly approaching, and we'll see what are the biggest games coming for March. Yeah, Sons of the Force doing really well. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. There there have been some issues with people having the ability to buy the game on Steam because so many people have been wanting to get in and play the game. I'm very excited about playing the game too. I just didn't want to play the early access version. We have this on our schedule. It was slated. We were slated to play this game when it released, but when we found out that the game was going to be dropping in early access as opposed to a full release, the devs were and I mean, shout out to the devs. They were very clear about the fact on Steam they had kind of a fact about what the differences would be between why it was coming out in early access, what the differences between early access and full release would be, and they made it known that the early access version would not include some mechanics. It would not include some of the lore and things like that that the full release would have. And so, therefore, I've decided to hold off and not stream and play the game until it goes full release, which is supposed to be roughly. They said 6 to 8 months. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a buffer of like 6 months to a year before we'll probably end up streaming the game. But I'm glad it's doing very well. The first, we just played the Forest in January, and it was a lot of fun, and a lot of fun with friends, man, with co-op. It was a lot of fun. It was hilarious. Uh, I had a great time playing it with our buddy and mod. My name is Pinky. Great time, and I think that the more the merrier, man. I think it's going to be a great time for a lot of people to enjoy together. So we'll have fun with it when it releases in full. But I'm glad to see it's doing very well too. That's great. Yakuza devs are stunting on the entire gaming industry. Let's see what's going on here. And the 7950 X3D beats the Intel flagship by 11% in leaked gaming benchmarks. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League delivers more bad news to fans. Uh-oh. I'm already really hesitant about this game just because of all the monetization going on. It's really gross looking. The other thing that worries me though is we've seen games like this come out all too long. This apparently is a loot and shoot game. One of the things that's weird to me already is how all these characters have this insane amount of mobility. It's almost like they can just fly around. Harley Quinn looks like Spider-Man in her mobility. Harley Quinn literally just be aside from the ropes she uses not being white, she literally is swinging around and like doing flips and stuff at the end of the swings and stuff. Looks like Spider-Man from the Insomniac games, in my opinion, which is a really weird take. Um, and then I think the thing that you're always going to be worried about with loot and shoot games, I mean, anybody that's a fan of loot and shoot games, the uh, the big worry is it going to feel real repetitive? Is there going to be any kind of content in the game that makes it feel fresh? Is there going to be in-game, you know, replayability that feels nice and you don't go, "Oh, okay, this is what we do over and over and over," and it just gets boring? Um I mean, I hope not. I hope they've got some good stuff going, but there's always the potential there. I think we've all experienced that in a lot of loot and shoot games like this, and we'll have to see. But first and foremost, all the monetization going on in this game is really gross looking to me, anyways. They're gonna want you to pay up front. Then they've got Battle Pass, and they've got a like microtransaction shop. It's then they've already talked about DLC they've got coming out for all other characters that you'll be able to play and stuff. And it's just like, man, it's just never gonna stop, dude. I don't know. Luna might bring Fortnite on board. This seems like some. This doesn't seem like it's a for sure thing, but in an article they're stating it like it is. I don't know. We'll take a look at that and see if that's for sure or not. Steam makes iconic game series just $1. All right. Excuse me. Gran Turismo may have just blown AI wide open. Huh? Okay. We've already hit on a lot of what's coming to PS Plus, uh, Game Pass, all that stuff. But that looks like maybe something we weren't quite aware of, so we'll take a look at it. Take a peek at that. Looks like a bit of an acquisition there. I'm not real familiar with these, but Fable Rider teases the upcoming Xbox game. Best Star Wars game of all time. I love these titles. You know, it's like the greatest game ever. Like, wait, to who? To you or to me? Like, what are you talking about? Are we talking about Knights of the Old Republic? Is that what they're talking about here? What are you guys betting on? What do you guys think they're talking about? The best Star Wars game of all time is here. Who do you guys think? What does comicbook.com think the best Star Wars game of all time is? I would just assume right off the bat they're talking about Knights of the Old Republic. Look at our other search real quick. Suicide Squad is everything that's wrong with modern video games. Dude. I'll put that down here with that other Suicide Squad article we have. Oh, no way, dude. Yo. Video games featuring homosexual relationships and ambiguous gender identities banned in China. I mean, I'm not really surprised, but dude, that'll be a good discussion for us right there. You know, we've talked a lot here lately about country like Saudi Arabia buying into a lot of the video gaming industry. They outright own SNK. They own upwards of close to like 10% of Nintendo at this point. You know, and one of the things I keep touting is like the scary thing about Saudi Arabia is that they're a very um, you know, they're a scary country in terms of their suppression on you know society, the society within their country and specific demographics and whether it be like gender, race, sexual orientation, or preference, things like that. They they're a scary. There's been a lot of persecution there, and it's well known, right? And that's one of those things that like we allow countries like that to just buy into the gaming industry, then their propaganda and their agendas end up really being ingrained in the games that we play as well, right? And here's this, like China's got the same thing going on, where I mean, we'll talk about it more when we get into this article, but it's like we talk a lot about just letting people live their best life. Just be good people, right? Be good people. Let people live their life. What? I mean, what's it matter if somebody's not hurting you, you know, and they're not pushing their views and things like that upon you, and they're not trying to make you be who they are. Why are you trying to make them be who you are? Right? Just let people live their best life, man. I mean, it's so insane that there's so much discrimination in the world on fronts like this, and we'll talk more about it as we get into this article. What's going on with the System Shock remake? Take a look at that. The doc breaks character after a player insults his mom. Bro, where's Byzantine at, dude? Excuse me. I look. I almost have to know. Yeah, bro. No way. No way. We talk about your mom jokes. You know what I mean? People hate mom jokes, dude. There are a lot of people that go, "Oh, well, it's just mom jokes are, are they're they're just too easy, or they're just annoying, or things like that." But dude, you know what's funny about the mom dude? Dude, they piss people off. They really do get under people's skin. Um, so it's funny how that works, we've had this conversation before. Like, there's something to be said for like some competitive banter and trying to get people riled up and maybe getting a little bit too toxic with things. We talk about that a lot, you know. But I'll even attest to the fact that like, dude, every great once in a while I'll pop back into a little bit of some Rocket League, and dude, that is a very toxic environment. It's really really bad, and yeah, I'll get these individuals that just start losing their minds for no reason. You know, they just start getting really, really nasty. And usually, what I'll do, man, is I'll just, you know, I'll turn something around that they say. I'll turn it around on them and turn it into a your mom joke or something, you know. And it won't be like vulgar or anything, really, but they lose their minds, dude. They just lose their minds. And it's funny how much people still hate like they take it so personal. You know, and they get so upset. Apparently, it happened to the doc too. It was just funny. It riles people up, dude. It does. People get upset about that stuff, man. But there is a big difference between like some competitive banter and just trying to get people riled up and people being overly toxic, which is getting real gross and you know getting into hate speech and things like that, which is just really not acceptable. Take a look at this Bloodborne remake on UE5. Dude, we've seen stuff like this. We've seen another one for Bloodborne UE5 also. So I'm not going to dive into that, but no, those are out there if you want to take a look. Okay. New RE4 remake weapon spotted in state of play. Cool. Oh, hey, dude, Quantum Error got a new cinematic. Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. We saw yesterday they're saying that there's the potential for Baldur's Gate 3 to be on Xbox. Now we're seeing a report saying it won't be on Xbox, and I don't know. This game is slated to release like what, the end of August? End of August this year, and it full release for PC and PS5. It just got announced in the PlayStation Direct that it'll be on PS5 as well, releasing at the same time as PC. But there's been no announcement of anything for Xbox. So I don't know. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, then it feels bad for Microsoft players, I guess. You know, we already knew that. All right, let's stick with this. Let's see what we got. RE4 remake weapon spotted in state of play trailer. RE4 fans already knew that the remake of the game would add content not previously seen in the original release. That's the point of a remake after all. But it appears that we've already gotten an early look at some of the new weapons Leon will have at his disposal. The most recent trailer for the game, which was revealed during PlayStation State of Play event this week, included a quick look at one weapon that's definitely new to Leon's arsenal, as well as another that sure looks like it's another new weapon he'll use. One that we haven't yet heard confirmed. The first new weapon spotted in the trailer shows up around 57 seconds into the video above. I don't see a video above, but you know, it's this comic book. They've always got wonky stuff in their writing. Uh, or does this say into the video above, where we can see Leon taking on the cultists inside the cast portion of the game? Okay, maybe they just. For a brief moment, we see Leon wielding what appears to be the bolt thrower, a weapon seen briefly in the past previews of RE4 remake. Dude, the bolt thrower. This is sounding like some Evil Within weapon, dude. The HUD shows an option where the player can attach a new mine that can be fired off with the bolt thrower, so there's been some speculation this item will be a replacement for the mine thrower found in the original game. Later in the trailer, around a minute and 25 seconds in, we see what appears to be another new weapon. Leon's holding some sort of gun that seems to be part of the SMG family, submachine gun. More specifically, this looks like it could be an MP5, some have speculated. That is indeed what this weapon is. It would be a welcome sight in the Resident Evil 4 remake, considering how the only real SMG in the original game was the TMP. The Chicago typewriter was, of course, a thing, but as far as first playthroughs go, Leon's options were limited. Excuse me. For those who might question whether this is just a replacement for the TMP, you'll notice that the HUD shows a distinctly different icon for this weapon, but in the first image above with the bolt thrower, we see in Leon's quick select weapons that the TMP appears to be there on the far left. Interesting. The MP5 has a history in RE games, given that it appeared in RE2 and RE5, so it wouldn't be surprising if this is indeed that weapon. Depending on when Leon acquires that and other new armaments, perhaps we'll see more of them in the game's upcoming demo. All right. Solid. Cool, man. Nice. Oh, here we go. We saw a trailer for this not too long ago, and I was like, it looks cool. Cosmic, this quantum error looks cool, but there were some things that were really turning me off, like with how just blatantly bad the AI seemed to be in engaging the player character. It seemed really, really hesitant. And really, I mean, like, you would open a door, there'd be like 3 enemies standing there, and they would just be like waiting and just waiting. And it was like just real unrealistic as to what you would, it was kind of a tough look for me anyways. Today, developer Team Kill Media released another brand new teaser trailer of its cosmic horror video game, Quantum Error. This time around, we get to see another cinematic showcasing a rather foreboding scene. We also get to take a look at some of the characters of the game who weren't showcased extensively before. So this is cinematic, though, so not gameplay. Quantum Error doesn't yet have a release date. Why do they state things like this all the time? Quantum Error doesn't yet have a release date just yet. This should state Quantum Error doesn't have a release date just yet, but it should come this year for PS5, PS4, and Xbox Series X and S. It's a first-person shooter, and it was originally announced for PS5 and PS4 in early 2020. Platforms have since been expanded to include Xbox Series X and S. It's developed in UE5 by a small team based in Kalispell, MT, founded by 4 brothers in 2016. Team previously released Kings of Lorne, The Fall of Ibris in 2019. Let's see what the cinematic has.
How do we fix this?
We need the Vicent back. It's the only way to put the light back.
Well, perhaps if your little fireman had not taken it.
How many times do we have to tell you? Your man, Melis, has it.
Medusa, do not betray their own. You lie. You think me a fool. Where is the fireman?
I don't know!
Maybe he speaks the truth.
Him Rainer in another game? Yeah.
Maybe I should track down Melis, lay eyes on the situation myself. It can't
looks like
hurt.
the character out of the first Evil Within.
Just to be sure.
Or that antagonist's name?
Fine. And if he does have it, I will break him. I have no more patience for games.
I will inform him.
No one leaves or enters this room.
My bad. I was just saying, hey, dude, and happy Sunday, brother. How you doing, man? That dude looked so moist. You know what I mean? He's just that guy looked like he was just so sweaty, dude. But the guy with the hood on looked like it looked like a cross between man, what was the antagonist's name out of the first Evil Within game? It looked like a cross between that and something out of like Devil May Cry. You know what I mean? Again, the first gameplay trailer I saw out of this, yo, what's that about? Does that look like a Valve right there? The first gameplay trailer I saw out of this game was kind of weird because it was like enemies were just like really hesitant to engage you in combat. It felt like, whereas you're just like running around just like blasting guys, and they're like, "Oh, it's you. Are you what I'm supposed to be shooting at?" And like there was like a scene where a door opens and there's like three of them. You open the door and there's like three enemies like right there in your grill, and they just like sit there and look at you for a little bit. It's like, what's happening here? Like, why are they not just automatically like going, "Hey, it's him," and like blasting away or something? And when I don't know, it was kind of weird. It seemed a little bit off to me, but this is the second time we've seen something here recently about this game. There must be a little bit of hype building around this, and we'll see. We'll see. What is going on with the System Shock remake? The System Shock remake has had a turbulent development cycle, has been awfully quiet ahead of its scheduled March release date. If you were to make a pile of all the reasons I might get excited for a video game and all the reasons I would be wary, and then smash those piles together as fast as you could, what would emerge from the resulting explosion would be the System Shock remake. Due out next month, the development of this game is one of the strangest and most turbulent in modern times, even though they don't have a firm release date for next month yet, which is not a good indicator. We're talking like supposed to be releasing within a month, and it's no dedicated release date yet. Might be worth a bet if this gets delayed. If you haven't been following the saga, some of what you're about to read will make you desperate to get System Shock in your hands, and some might make you hope no one ever does. The obvious place to start is System Shock itself. Pretty dang good video game, although I don't have the fondness for it that I do for a lot of other 90s titles like Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Crash Bandicoot, Tony Hawk, Spyro. All of those have had some form of remake before, while System Shock has not. It's as good a candidate to be in line as any. It has been enhanced, but this was not to the scale of Spyro Reignited or Tomb Raider Anniversary. As I've written about before, I'm conflicted about remakes in general, as they can stem the flow of creativity in order to profit off polishing what already works. But I'm coming around to the idea for older classics lost to time. I'm never going to be on board with The Last of Us getting a second one in less than a decade. Agreed. But for your Metroid Primes, your Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2s, indeed, your System Shocks, go ahead. Yeah. The game is also crowdfunded, which on the face of it, I'm here for. Gaming offers some fun foundational experiences with media, but these chances are slowly being taken away from the working class as corporations strive to make bigger, better games that take several years to produce and then cost excessive prices. Crowdfunding offers more powered people, allows creatives to make games their fans want without corporate loopholes, and can keep pricing down at the end of it. System Shock Remake shakes out at £34 or $40 US roughly, half of the typical $70 price point we're seeing nowadays. Great news, right? As you might have guessed from the opening paragraph, not quite. This crowdfunding was set up by Night Dive Studios, a corporation who acquired the rights to System Shock back in 2012, some 18 years after the original game launched. This team made the enhanced edition, but they are not the original creators of the series. They are investors who bought the game and now want us to pay for it. They're a small studio, and they have an affection for the series. It's not all black and white. They're not greedy, slobbering suits looking for a quick buck, but they also had no input on the creation of System Shock and now they're crowdfunding for the right to reimagine their own remake. On the flip side of that flip side, that's a new one for me. Making for a rather gymnastic double somersault, Night Dive is very open about this fact. I haven't had to burrow deep into shady documents to bring you this earth-shattering revelation. It's readily available at the game's website, as is a current donation counter and an explanation of what the next stretch goal is. Currently, it's PC mod support. Night Dive also acquired the rights not from the original creators Looking Glass, but from an investment firm who had swallowed Looking Glass's assets when it went bankrupt. So on the flop side, yeah, dog. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you nailed it, dude. It's just as easy to paint Night Dive as heroes rescuing a cult classic from the jaws of obscurity and taking its plans to the public only to be met with aplomb. That gets harder when you look at how development of the game has gone. Chris Avellone was brought in to change parts of the script which had not aged well as to fill in the missing sections of the game as the game adapted to modern design ideals and added extra levels, new sequences, and a better way to link each portion of the game together. At the time, Avellone was best known for his work writing Fallout New Vegas. These days, he's best known for facing 3 separate accusations of sexual misconduct, which caused him to leave his position writing Dying Light 2 for Techland. Avellone denies these allegations, but was also cut from the System Shock team. Interesting. Of course, Avellone is just one man. He's no longer there, and he wasn't part of the Enhanced Edition team, which proved Night Dive had the pedigree for this. Only they're not there either. Citing feature creep at the game's development conference of 2018, the game's lead stated development had restarted and a newly assembled team would be moving forward with the project. For the most part, it's not the people who made the game that was central to generating backers in the first place. None of this alone is a red flag. There are just a lot of pink flags. Not yellow. And when you raise them all up as one, they look red. Okay. I'm still intrigued by System Shock. The demo played well enough when I first dabbled with it, and if you're going to remake something, it might as well be a forgotten classic crowdsourced by a medium-sized studio dedicated to doing right by the series. Night Dive didn't make System Shock, but it's hard to deny it loves System Shock. I want to like it too, but one peek behind the scenes, and things don't seem as solid as they should. To be due out in at most 36 days and still not have a release date is another pink flag, and this one is very dark. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there. We knew that already. We hadn't seen. This is a very well written article. This is some stuff that I didn't know either. We knew there's some issues through this process, and but there's some intel here that I wasn't really aware of, and that's a great article. If you guys need that, I'll link it to you. If you need to read the article about what's going on the flop side of this, you got it. Dude, here we go. Down a little bit. Video games featuring homosexual relationships and ambiguous gender identities banned in China. We'll have a discussion about this after I read this. Just weeks after its ban on sissies and effeminate men on TV, the Chinese government plans to ban video games that include gay relationships, genderless characters, and unmanly characters. Big League Politics reports. Compare that to the West, where the only complaint about games is that they lead to violence, as if violence isn't the only thing that has ensured our survival until now. If we had not used violence, we would have been overrun by our enemies long ago. They also don't lead to violence. We know that. But in addition, China plans to ban video games that do not promote correct values and an quote-unquote correct values and an quote accurate understanding of Chinese culture and history, as well as games that feature gay relationships, effeminate men, quoted, effeminate men, and characters with unclear genders, a memo said that was leaked to the South China Morning Post. Quote, if regulators cannot immediately determine the gender of the character, the setting of the characters may be considered problematic and red flags will be raised, the memo reads. While the EU is committing suicide by installing an LGBTQI dictatorship and promoting climate hysteria, Chinese are doing the opposite, and it's clear who wins, needless to say. The memo, which first appeared in an internal training course for a state-sponsored gaming association, makes it abundantly clear to game studios that Beijing no longer views video games as pure entertainment, that that is apolitical, but as an emerging art form that, like film and television, has the uncanny ability to shape culture, politics, and society. You just have to look at who controls Hollywood, and it's not so mysterious. Movies and TV are poison. Turn those things off. Video games that promote unclear gender identities and same-sex relationships are not the only games that will be banned under the new rules. According to the memos, games that revise the historical narrative and games that incite characters to immoral behavior will also be on the chopping block. Quote, games must not distort facts or deliberately provoke controversy, and historical figures with established storylines must not be recreated, the memo continues. Quote, some games have blurred moral boundaries. Players can choose to be good or bad, but we don't think games should give players this choice, and this needs to be changed, the memo reads. The news comes about a month after Beijing introduced strict restrictions on the amount of time under 18s can spend playing online video games. Under the new rules, young people under the age of 18 can play online video games for 3 hours a week and only 1 hour a day on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays between 8 and 9 p.m. So much political bias in this article. Yeah, I know. Here's what's funny. It's like they think that this is what's so funny about like people think that this kind of content, first and foremost, that this kind of content in games is going to turn people's sexual preference or something. Yo, people are naturally attracted to whoever they're attracted to just by being who they are. It's part of who they are of just the way they're born, okay? So it's not like you're going to influence people to turn them into something that they're not on that front by exposing them to it in their entertainment and media and stuff. That's not the way that works, dude. It's like that's such the idea of that is so stupid. Like, limiting content so kids don't become violent. Yeah. This is what, look, I mean, we all know that China has been really, really cracking down on the gaming industry anyways. Even outside of content like this in the game, we've seen them cracking down on online. Anybody that's under the age of 18 has, I mean, very, very limited amount of time that they can play online games. They're trying to regulate that. I'm sure there are ways that people are trying to find ways and are finding ways to get around that. Kids are, but at the same time, there's like even the industry itself is being heavily regulated by China's government in the fact that there's this huge bottleneck between the industry of developers and the government themselves in China, where the developers have a lot of games that are ready to be published, released, if you will. They're finished, they're developed, and they're just waiting, and they literally cannot be released in that country because China goes, hey, unless we give you a permit, you can't release it in this. You can't release it here. So about every 3 to 4 months, usually more about every 4 months, there'll be about 50 to 60 permits that come out. It's a small number actually, but it's like every. And none of the developers actually know whether they're going to get one or not for the games that have just been sitting there waiting in the queue. It's a really weird situation. And so what's actually started to happen, there are a lot of developers and companies in the gaming industry that are trying to find their way out of China. They're trying to, relocate to other parts of the world where they don't have to deal with these severe restrictions and roadblocks and obstacles of the permits and things like that. And now, I mean, there's even more of it now where it's like, God forbid that developers just, give people as much option as they want and maybe don't even define a gender for a character or whatever. And China's just like, hey, sorry. We can't tell if this is supposed to be, an actual defined gender for this character. So this game's blocked, And it's like, it's just crazy, and again, we're talking about like You all know how I feel about it. And it's just crazy to me that it's such a conflict to just let people love who they want to love, you know? I mean, it doesn't again, you know, if anybody's pushing, you know, negative hurtful ideals or beliefs or whatever on other people, that's terrible, dude, and that's unacceptable. But why can't people just live their best life, dude? You know, like these that's just so wild to me, you know. It doesn't make any sense. And this is an issue on the flip side of things. We've got what we've talked about a lot here lately too, and I talked about this when we found this article in the first place. Was you've got countries like Saudi Arabia, which are you know, as far as, you know, persecution and you know, discrimination against certain demographics of people, whether it be gender based or you know, based on sexual preference or racial or what have, or gender based, whatever, you know what I mean. It's like yeah, that's Saudi Arabia is very well known for, you know, a lot of that kind of persecution and discrimination and Saudi Arabia is buying heavily into the gaming industry, and we have to be very careful because on the flip side, you know, we've got a country like that which owns almost 10% of Nintendo at this point. They entirely own some of the developers like SNK. They outright own SNK now. And while they're being outspoken about how they're trying to comfort people into thinking that their views on how people should be or whatever won't work its way into video games and into some of these developers that they own partial parts of or whatever, dude, I'm not going to be blinded by that. I'm not going to be blinded by that. And to think that some of these countries that have these very, very, very harsh stances on discrimination and persecution of a lot of different fronts in regards to people, to think that it's not going to work its way into video games to try and push their agenda as like propaganda and stuff on people through video games is I absolutely see it as something that's happening. That's why we need to be like very careful, I think, as to, you know, the kinds of organizations and investors and things like that are being allowed to heavily be part of the entertainment industry and stuff, you know. What's outrageous to me is that people drink watered down ice cream, aka smoothie. What do you mean you don't think that's what they're doing? That's absolutely what they're doing. You serve them watered down ice cream, dude. No, what do you mean you don't think that's what they're doing? Elaborate, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean starting to adopt on the flip-flop side? What do you mean? You guys are losing me, dude. So, I don't know. This is terrible, dude, in my opinion. You just don't think that that's what do you mean you don't think that's I mean, they're not doing it right now, but if you think, look, they're not currently implementing those kinds of things, Wick. Not yet. But if you think that a country like that is actually well known for being for persecuting people in society, if you think that right now they're not doing it, dude, no. But if you think that once they get to a certain point of buying into the industry and they have enough of a grip on enough developers, especially big ones, that they won't end up injecting that kind of stuff into it, you're out of your mind, dude. Currently, no, they're not. But if you think the potential for them to not do that in the future, once they have enough of a grip on the industry, is not going to happen, you're out of your mind, brother. Yeah. I don't know that for a fact. You're right. But everything that I do know about that country and what they do currently in persecuting people and discriminating against people, I think it's a very safe bet. If you think that that's not some kind of ploy for them, to implement in pushing an agenda and stuff. And look, most people won't see it like that. It won't just be blatant like that. That's what I'm trying to get at. It won't be blatant. It won't just start blatant like I think you're looking at it wrong, dude. Nothing starts that black and nothing starts like that. It's incremental, dog. It's incremental. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm trying to get across to people is that we need to be careful and aware of who's investing and be aware of what could potentially become an issue, right? Keep your eyes open for things like that to be changing. You know what I mean? If big countries like this that are well known for persecution and discrimination and things like that against large demographics of people, what I'm trying to do is raise awareness about the fact that it could become something. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely not going to do it while they're trying to buy into the industry, because that would be stupid. But once they get a big hold on it, and they wouldn't do it right away or anything. It would be incremental, and they would do it in ways which you wouldn't really notice it at first either, right? But that's the way countries have done stuff over the course of history all the time to its, to people, man. They do it in ways in which it's like you don't really see it at first. You know what I mean? And then by the time you do, it's so ingrained already, So, no, to say that they're just going to all of a sudden be going, oh, women can't drive in video games. That's not what I'm getting at, dude. And I think that's the wrong way to look at it, too. What I'm trying to do is raise awareness about the fact of some of these maybe not so ethical and moral types of investors that are buying into the industry, and what the potential is there for them to maybe turn games and the industry that we love into something that is a propaganda machine for them in the future. Just trying to raise awareness, man, because it's there. The potential's there, dude. If you say it's not, you're wrong. I'm sorry. I would have to say that you're wrong, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. But if you think that there's just absolutely no chance that a country like that is so well known for those kinds of things to buy in heavily into this industry and not try to run those kinds of things on the people that play the games, pull them over to their kinds of views, and run a lot of the video game development in the future that they have their hands in as like propaganda to groom people into their kinds of, then I would have to severely disagree with you. I'm not saying they absolutely will, but the potential is absolutely there. It's kind of like, the same thing as what this is. It's just not as blatant yet. they want people, like China right now wants people being who they want people to be, right? And therefore, they're regulating video games on that front within their country. And the same thing could absolutely potentially happen with Saudi Arabia getting too ingrained in video games, them trying to make people be who they want people to be through pushing propaganda through the games. It is an absolute possibility, dude. Fable writer teases the upcoming Xbox game. Fable fans and Xbox fans in general are desperate for more information on the new and upcoming Fable game after a prolonged period of silence that dates back to the game's announcement in 2020. Since its announcement, it's become increasingly obvious that either the game was announced too early or development issues have fallen upon it. Whatever the case, the narrative lead on the game, Anna McGill recently tweeted about it, and in the process caught the attention of the aforementioned fans. It's my 2-year anniversary at Playground. Wow, has it really been that long? It's been busy in that time. Cannot wait to show you all the wonderful stuff we've created. As you would expect, this subtle tease created some speculation, and many Xbox fans were quick to wonder if there's anything more to it, or whether or not there's anything hidden within it. The answer to both of these questions is no. How do we know? Shortly after McGill issued a follow-up tweet shooting down all the speculation. There's no hidden meaning in this anniversary tweet. All I'm saying is I've worked here for 2 years and I'm still happy. That's it. This may not seem like much of a tease, and it's not. However, beggars can't be choosers. Since this game was announced back in 2020, it's been radio silence. All there have been are rumors and reports that the game is having development issues. Of course, you could look into McGill's tweet and suggest it works against these rumors, but that would be a stretch. Okay. That's not the same thing, dude. I know. Capu. At the moment of publishing, there's no word when the new Fable game will release. In fact, there's no word when Xbox fans will ever see it again. I know you are. That's why I said Capu, dude. But not everybody that watches this is going to know what your Capu means, dude. So that's why I needed to state that. That said, whenever it ends up releasing, nice troll though, dude. It is. But I mean, I think it's important for people to understand the differences between that, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, when it comes down to things like this, there's been significant research that has shown that right, there you go, dude. There's been significant research behind, like, video game violence being the catalyst behind people committing real life violent acts, right? And there's been so much research behind it to disprove that. And as opposed to the fact of the potential for grooming of people for things like things in games for stuff like that we were talking about, right? To make them believe certain things if it's implemented the right way and if it's done long enough, and it's there's absolutely ways in which games can be created in a way that can make people believe a certain thing is the right thing, right? So those are kind of two completely different subjects, if you will, on how video games can influence, and especially in the different ways in which video games can be developed, and implementing the potential behind the grooming and the propaganda stuff, and the pushing of agendas and things like that. It can be done. And look, I'm not saying that it's something that's just going to change overnight or anything. I'm just trying to get people to keep their minds right about maybe not buying into it if you start seeing things, right? We know that video games are like most of the time a science fiction world and stuff, right? So it's like most of the time people get we've seen it recently with like Atomic Heart, right? Atomic Heart, a lot of people got jacked up about Atomic Heart because and it seems like potentially there is some need for it because they have some investors that have ties to the state, which is a little bit weird. But the premise behind the game, with just Russia winning, World War and things like that, I think that just initially had people real riled up, and it's like, man, it's just a fictitious kind of thing. So I think there's a difference between, people understanding maybe a fantasy take on something and keeping your eyes open about maybe something in the future where you start seeing the same kind of stuff being injected into a game that could be the push towards trying to get people to see things in our world actually as what should be correct, quote unquote correct or whatever. You know, in some of these ways that maybe a country like China or a country whatever power may be thinks that is the right way to do things especially when it comes down to discriminating against people or suppressing um certain groups in society or what have you, whether it be gender based or things like that. I don't think it would be anything that came in real faster, but I do think it's something that is important for us to keep our eyes open about. When you have a countries such as this that are well known for doing those kinds of things, that's my big thing. Just trying to get people to be aware that there's the potential is going to be there. To say that it am I saying absolutely it'll absolutely happen? No. But for people to say that it absolutely would not happen too, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with people going, there's no way. Because we've seen in history, dude, media and entertainment has been a real useful tool throughout history. It's been a real useful tool for certain organizations. And the more prevalent gaming gets, it's already huge. It gets in front of a lot of people's faces, and I think the more that happens, which is as we continue to move forward, it's only going to increase, and the potential for certain potential like bad agencies and organizations to want to try to find ways to turn it into a tool for them to push their agenda onto people, I think is always going to be there, which is why I think it's important for people to be aware of that. While I would hate to see it, because ultimately what games are supposed to be for us is just something to have fun with, I have worries on that front for sure. Whenever it ends up releasing it, it's safe to assume it will do so via PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series X. For more coverage on all things Xbox, including all the latest Fable news, all of the latest Fable rumors and leaks, and all of the latest Fable speculation, click here. And that wasn't really a tease. Kind of trash. Best Star Wars game of all time, discounted to lowest price ever. The best Star Wars game of all time has been discounted to its lowest price ever on Switch. There have been many Star Wars games over the years, and there could be an argument made for a few when it comes to which is the greatest ever made. You could easily make an argument for the classic Star Wars Battlefront games or Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but most would make the case for Knights of the Old Republic. Yes, the highest rated Star Wars game to date. On Switch, the game is currently $974, the cheapest it's ever been on the console, according to Deku Deals. Okay. Developed by BioWare, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic debuted in 2003. It was an OG Xbox exclusive, the first installment in the series of the same name. It garnered a Metacritic score of 94 upon release, and to this day is widely considered one of the best RPGs of all time and even one of the best games of all time. Yeah, it's dude, it's my favorite Star Wars game of all time. It's fantastic. They're supposed to be making a remake, and it got like indefinitely delayed, unfortunately. But hopefully, whenever it starts ramping up again, they'll turn it into something good. But it's going to be hard to hit the same kind of magic I think that they did on the original. It's an incredible game. Choosing all your actions affect whether you are leaning towards the light or the dark side, and it's a very, very, very well made RPG for the Star Wars world. If you're into that deal, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, is also available at the same price point, which is also the cheapest it's ever been on Nintendo Switch. Released in 2004, also an Xbox exclusive at first, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords was not developed by BioWare, but by Obsidian Entertainment. Upon release, it garnered an 86 on Metacritic, which is a very solid score, but it's not held in the same prestigious regard as its predecessor. If you want to watch the trailers, man, I'll link this for you guys. Kratos Studios raises $20 million and acquires NDGG. Kratos Studios announced it has raised $20 million at a valuation of $150 million, and it has acquired NDGG. The seed round was led by Accel with participation from Prosus Ventures, Courtside Ventures, Nexus Venture Partners, Nazara, and others. Game veterans Manash Agarwal and Ishank Gupta started the Bengaluru, India-based Kratos. They're building a Web3 gaming decentralized autonomous organization under the NDGG brand, which they have also acquired through a token swap. The funding will be available to them build distribution rails in emerging markets for the global Web3 games. Oh, gross, dude. I won't read the rest of this. Look, dude, I'm not into the Web3 stuff, dude. Have fun with it. If you want to read about it, go ahead. That's why I wasn't familiar with these. That's why. Web3, NFT, blockchain stuff, have fun with it, dude. I don't believe in anybody investing in that space right now doing it the right way. It just seems like a big flipping money scheme, dude. I haven't seen anybody do a really good job of it yet, so that's why I don't take much time to dive into that front. So I don't know. If it's not to say that maybe there aren't companies that are trying to do a good job on it, but there is a huge focus on any developer that's diving into the Web3 NFT blockchain space. The main concern there is how much money can you make? You know, it's not necessarily about the quality of content, or it's just like how much can you make? We've seen a lot of people get duped on it, and it's just not something that I really want to promote, man. So until I see something change in the industry about the incorporation of Web3 NFT blockchain stuff in games being more mutually beneficial to both the gamer and developers as a whole, I'm staying away from it. A new Steam sale has discounted one of the most iconic series in gaming, and it's the process made some of the most iconic games as cheap as $1. Not often you get any game for $1, let alone some of the greatest games of all time, unless you're on Steam. Compared to the PlayStation Store, Nintendo eShop, and Xbox Store, Steam is unrivaled when it comes to deep discounts. Though the digital console storefronts are closing the gap. For now, though, there's only one place you can get classic Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider games for the price of an Arizona iced tea. Special promotional sale is only live until February 27th. So if you're reading this and wondering why the games are no longer 70, 80, and 90% off, this is why. All the classic Tomb Raider games, which are undeniably the more iconic ones, are all less than $1, while the new installments range from $3 to $12. For example, the original 6 Tomb Raider games are 97 cents or 98 cents. Meanwhile, the 2 latest mainline installments in the series, Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, are $6 and $12.50 respectively. 15 games featured are as follows: Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Lara Croft Go, excuse me. That game just came out on mobile, I think. Rise of the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, and the Temple of Osiris, Tomb Raider 2013, Tomb Raider 6, The Angel of Darkness, Tomb Raider 5 Chronicles, Tomb Raider 4, Last Revelation, Tomb Raider 3, Tomb Raider 2, Tomb Raider 1, Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light, Tomb Raider Underworld, Tomb Raider Anniversary, and Tomb Raider Legend. You need that link here. Gran Turismo may have just blown gaming AI wide open. Its GT Sophie racers are wildly changing. Car looks like a donk, dude. It almost looks like Wick's Prius. Lifted up with some 35s on it, you know. Gaming technology moves at a breathtaking pace, even if console generations make it feel static for years at a time. Advancements are always happening out of sight. If the proliferation of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S in the last couple of years has brought major graphical upgrades to the masses, though, the one area that it's lagged behind. One area feels like it's lagged behind. Excuse me. Artificial intelligence is a buzzword at the moment, but in gaming, it generally means something simpler than in the wider world, opponents and allies. AI is shorthand for the bots you play against or alongside, whether those are single-player enemies or multiplayer targets. Plenty of games have tried to shout about steps forward they've taken with their AI, making for more realistic or challenging encounters. Modern Warfare 2 made a song and dance of this before launch for one. Almost to a one, though, the end result don't justify the hype. Modern Warfare 2's bots are as prosaic as ever, with laser-like aiming attempting to make up for simple tactics. Even games that rely on bots heavily to populate their worlds, like Escape from Tarkov, know full well that even mediocre players can spot a bot from a mile out, ignoring or dispatching them accordingly. So that's left us all more impressed with the limited time racing together experience that just arrived in Gran Turismo 7. This lets players finally race against Sony's GT Sophie AI, a bot that it spent years honing with researchers. Unveiled a year ago, it's been facing trials since then, and it's now out for all of us to match up against. It's an amazing experience doing so, carefully crafted to play with your expectations. A series of races are on offer, each with multiple difficulty levels, starting you in an overpowered car compared to the AI racers before eventually offering a totally level playing field. Once you get up to that final level, GT Sophie's sophistication is manifest in the form of a racer that is unpredictable and opportunistic, like no AI we've ever seen. This isn't just a simple system like Forza's Drivatar options, making the bot more or less aggressive. It's a racer that reacts in real time and spots opportunities to pull off moves that we didn't even see. The proof is in the pudding, too, with drivers a million times more experienced and skillful than us now bumping up against the AI and finding it hugely challenging to overcome. Nudge ahead from the start, and defensive driving can win the day, but catching up to GT Sophie feels like an impossible task. It drives like a player would. If the player were the most reliable and mistake-free driver on the circuit, it's amazing how revolutionary that can feel. The question it casts, though, is how it'll impact the scene. Is this the future of practicing racing against a perfect machine that can push you to new heights, or is it the death of competitive Gran Turismo as people's hopes are snuffed out by a Terminator-like chaser? Yeah. That's sweaty, dude. The good news is that the AI is in Sony and Polyphony Digital's own hands, unlike in other games where the third-party bots can infiltrate from the outside to crush competitive integrity. Rocket League recently had its own inquest into how a bot called Nexto was being used in ranked play for an almost existential threat to a game's ecosystem. Meanwhile, ChatGPT and other AI implementations are threatening the worlds of publishing and programming with AI-created scripts that are hard to pick out from authored content, making GT Sophie's release feel all the more timely. For now, all we can recommend is that any racing fans seek out the Race Together event to try it for themselves. Getting destroyed by an AI is nothing new, but playing one that's indistinguishable from an ace human driver leaves its own distinct glow of admiration. That's crazy, man. Pretty nuts. PS Plus subscribers getting one of the best PS5 games. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy are coming to the aforementioned tiers of PS Plus next month. For those that don't know, the latest mainline installment in the Uncharted series, Uncharted 4, was released back in 2016 to a 93 on Metacritic. In addition to being one of the highest rated games on PS4, it was one of the best selling games on the console. Uncharted The Lost Legacy is a standalone expansion of Uncharted 4 that was released a year later in 2017. Dumping Nathan Drake as the protagonist for secondary character Chloe Fraser, it did not review or sell as well. In 2022, the pair of games were remastered and bundled together for the PS5. Below, you can read more about each game and check out a trailer for the pair of Uncharted titles. And these are hitting this coming month. But these are only coming to PS Plus Extra and Premium subscribers, okay? Not a standard tier. Okay. Cool. If you need more here, I'll link it for you. Biggest video games releasing in March. Let's see. RE4, yeah. Will Long Fallen Dynasty looks cool. WWE 2K23 will almost assuredly be full of bugs because they always are on release. Here's the thing. There's another wrestling game coming into the mix here, though, with AEW. It won't be... it's more of an arcade style, which I think people are going to like, actually. But nonetheless, there's another mainline wrestling game coming into the fray, and hopefully that will put some pressure on 2K to start elevating the quality of their game, because there really hasn't been anything else for wrestling fans out there other than the 2K games, and they've been pretty brutal, especially on release. They haven't done a real great job of fixing these either after release, and it's because they don't have competition really. So now that AEW is coming out, hopefully that'll be a big push. Chia looks really cool. We've seen stuff on that. Rockay City, yeah, okay, yep. Last of Us Part 1 PC port. We'll have to pay attention to see how that does. EA Sports PGA Tour, we've seen stuff on that. System Shock. This doesn't have a definitive release date, though. So, well, like we just read, System Shock could potentially end up getting delayed. It's a month. We're within. All it has is a release date of March of this year, and to be this close to a release and not have a definitive date for the release yet is a bit wonky in the gaming industry. So there's some concerns there. We'll see if it actually releases this month or not. MLB The Show 23. Ow, dude. Eyelash. Bayonetta Origins. Cereza and the Lost Demon. Legend of Heroes Trials to Azure. Have we seen this? I think we've seen this on the Switch. March 14th, yeah. The Bayonetta stuff's March 17th. Valheim Xbox port, dude. Oh, I'm so psyched for people on Xbox to be able to play Valheim. March 14th. There's all those trailers are in here too. We've seen them before, so I'm not going to sit here and watch them. But they're right there in chat if you guys want. Some of the big titles coming out this coming month. The Yakuza devs are stunting on the entire gaming industry. Dude, look at that. Look at that suit. Dude, some of these suits are dope. I like that one. I dig that too. Like the subtle plaid suits, dude, are really nice. And I like the pants too. I'm more into like the form-fitting pants, dude, than I am like the big old. Like these don't look like they fit, man. These pants don't look like they fit. They're super baggy. This one's pretty dope too. I like that. That's cool. We here at Kotaku get plenty of tips via email. Some are spam, others are error-filled hate messages, and a few are serious allegations that require serious investigation. So it's refreshing when something comes in that just points us towards something breezy and cool. As was the case with a recent tip regarding the Slay House Down Boots fashion of the Like a Dragon Ishin developers Gotoku Studio, a development subdivision of Sega whose roots trace back to '98. Gotoku RGG is a Japanese studio responsible for the 2012 third-person shooter Binary Domain. However, you're probably more familiar with RGG's most prominent work, the Yakuza series. Since 2012, RGG has been in charge of the action-adventure franchise, developing new mainline entries and remastering old ones while putting together spin-offs such as the Judgment series and the latest remake, Like a Dragon Ishin. It's that later game, which was originally a 2014 Japan-only release before making its worldwide debut earlier this week. That was the topic of the tips email we got this week. Enamored with senior editor Alyssa Mercante's fashion call-out of the Game Awards' bland drip. The reader, whose name we've decided to keep hidden, said we should check out this making of Like a Dragon video to see some cool suits. Quote, I loved the Game Awards fashion call-out and follow-up article, and 40 seconds into the video about RGG making the next Like a Dragon game, there's an amazing staff promo photo. The reader said in an email to Kotaku, I guess if you're in charge of the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, you're basically obligated to wear a cool suit. They aren't lying. RGG is literally stunting over the entire industry in one shot. That's so cool, dude. In the first episode of a multiplayer part series on Sega Asia's English YouTube channel, we get a quick glance at RGG's fashion sense. Japanese fashion is pretty captivating if you follow it, filled with flowy silhouettes, wild colors and patterns, and an interesting blend of casual and smart aesthetics. Folks in the land of the rising sun know how to dress. RGG is no exception. Sure, the suits the developers wear about 40 seconds into the video above are all black, but the nuance is in the details. Yeah, two staffers have jackets with interesting markings, one with a variety of white dots, another with copious small crosses. A different staffer has a coat with tastefully accenting white lines. I really liked that one. Three other staffers have all-over patterns, with two of the staffers' suits having a nice sheen. If you told me this was an alternative J-Rock band and not a bunch of video game developers, I'd believe you. Even the boots, while nondescript on the surface, really added to the developer's collective drip. Most in the photo have round, pointed-toe, glossy-looking boots with no laces, like they all just stepped off the set of The Matrix or something. Two others mix things up a little bit, with one staffer having what appears to be round lace-up boots a la Doc Martens, though maybe not the exact brand, and another seemingly wearing some very dark, perhaps suede-looking boots. Either way, RGG's fits are on point. And I may not be the fashionista that Kotaku's Alyssa Mercante is, but I too am gagging over the confident simplicity RGG exudes and their almost matching looks. It's dope to see, especially in an industry known for some of the most predictable outfit combos ever. Shout out to RGG for slaying the entire industry in a matter of seconds with both their killer fashion and their even more killer samurai game, Like a Dragon Ishin. In fact, staff writer Sissy Zhang called it the best samurai game that you can play right now. It does seem like a very cool game. I would like to try it out. If you guys want to see the video there, I'll link it for you. Those suits are dope, though. The suits look good. Yeah. All right, so some more benchmark stuff, man. We started hitting on some of this yesterday. We knew we were going to be getting more benchmarks for the X3D Ryzen CPUs. Again, if you're not aware, these are the new AMD chips, CPUs that are coming out that have a significant amount of level 3 memory cache on them. And benchmarks are starting to hit. Ryzen 9 7950 X3D beats Intel's flagship by 11% in leaked gaming benchmarks. That's significant. Their processors, which will aim to take the #1 spot on the list of best CPUs for gaming, are almost among us. However, before the rumor mill grinds to a stop, new benchmarks for the 7950 X3Ds reportedly illustrate the flagship Zen 4's supremacy over the Intel Core i9 13900K. The gaming benchmarks via Chilled Dog have the Ryzen 9 7950 X3D pairing up with a 3090 in 5 different titles. Additionally, the user seemingly tested the chip's gaming performance at a 1080p resolution with maximum graphics settings. Granted that it's a small sample size of games and being leaked benchmarks from an unidentified source, throw some salt over the results. Yeah, we'll get official benchmarking from like independent testing sources in the near future for sure. But overall, the Ryzen 9 from these leaked results or whatever outperformed the Core i9 13900K by 11%. The margins were more pronounced in some games than others. For example, the 7950 X3D delivered up to 35% higher in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In other games such as Far Cry 5 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was only 12 and 11% faster, respectively. Dominance in Metro Exodus dropped to 5%. The only victory of the Core i9 was in Star Control, where the Raptor Lake barely edged out the X3D by a 2% margin. You can see right here. So these are the two that you're really looking at. The flagship processors right now, you know, the X3D, the 7950 X3D that's coming out from AMD, and the Core i9 13900K. You can see the differences in the gaming benchmarks here. Yeah. On average, the X3D, the 7950 X3D posted an 18% better gaming performance than the 7950. One of the two highest performance chips for gaming. Again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla heavily favored the Ryzen chip, as evidenced by the 39% delta between it and the 7950X. The AMD Ryzen 9 7950 X3D launches on February 28th. So 2 days, guys, at about a $700 US price point. Yeah. Okay. Yo, Mithril, we got to get you guys the Steam Deck first, dude. What's up, buddy? What you doing, dude? Oh, dude, I meant to link that too. Here, bruh. Here, I know there are people that are interested in seeing this. So, again, these are not like official benchmarks. These are like some leaked benchmarks from a specific user here, but like an unidentified source, you know. But yeah, Mithril, yeah. So I know, you know, as soon as the chip drops, so in the next couple of days, we're gonna start seeing a lot of benchmarks come out from independent like sources that you know, they deal in benchmarking these things as a this is what they do specifically. Yo, Mr. Raven.
Raven15
Thanks,
is
buddy.
raiding with 4 viewers.
Yo, what up, dude? Good morning, or good day, or good night, or, you know, whatever it might be for you. What's up, guys? What you doing? Welcome in. We're just kind of kicking in towards the Miss Drizzler. What up? Welcome in. Hitting towards the end of our video gaming news segment for the morning before we hit into some bloodstained ritual of the night today. Yeah. How are you guys? Welcome in. Thank you, Mr. Raven, for the raid, my friend. I appreciate it very much, buddy. How you been, dude? It's good night. Yeah, dude. Here, I got you, brother. I got you, dude. Stop that. Yo, you guys should go check out Mr. Raven's place. Yeah. Playing some Hell Let Loose, huh? Sick, dude. Right on. I haven't played it. You have you played a lot of it? Oh, hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. I've seen a little bit of Hell Let Loose, man, but I haven't really played it. Yo, it's random emote time, by the way, guys. Exclamation point random emote. If you match up to the emote that Stream Elements got, you get a free sub. So try it out, see what you get. Play with the homies. Word, dude. Word. Cool, man. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, man. It looks pretty cool. Nice. Get it in there. Miss Bat, what's up? How are you? How's the fam? Yo, thanks again, buddy. Yeah, if you guys, the link's right up there for Mr. Raven 15's spot here on Twitch. Go take a look, man, and throw some love out there. Show a little bit of that outsider love and throw some follows if you don't mind, please. That would be much appreciated, man. Yay, Crunchyroll, yeah. All good, sleeping still? Everybody upside down in their caves? Is that what's going on? Yeah, World War II sim, yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mr. Raven. Yeah. Yeah. Rest well, buddy. Rest well. Thank you very much for the raid, man. Appreciate it. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League delivers more bad news for fans. Kill the Justice League continues to deliver some more unfortunate news to the fans. Yeah, you could say that. Word. Nice. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. One of the worst things about gaming in the last decade or so is that everything requires some modern hoop to jump through. Whether it's installing a 100 gigabyte game as opposed to just popping in the disc or having to deal with lots of microtransactions. That's what this game's going to be. Gaming is a lot less simple these days. A lot of games, though not all, have abandoned the idea of just letting people play by themselves or without having to be connected to the internet. Many games require an internet connection, be it so you can play the game at all because it's always online, or to download pieces of the game that aren't on the disc. The latest example of this is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, a game that is getting hammered by fans on social media right now. After years of cinematic trailers and gameplay teases, we finally got our first full look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League this past week. Many were frustrated as it is the follow-up to Rocksteady Studios' Batman Arkham trilogy. A masterclass in single-player gaming, this game, however, is a co-op game that can be played by yourself or, if you so choose, with live service elements such as post-launch content and a battle pass. This turned a lot of people off very quickly, but the nail in the coffin for many is that it also requires an online connection. We've seen this a lot, dude. We've seen this a lot. So, this game, Redfall is going to be the same way. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're playing in a multiplayer environment or if you're just going to be playing single player. You have to have an online. You have to be online. You have to be connected to the internet to play the game. It's turned a lot of people off very quickly. But the nail in the coffin for many is that it also requires an internet connection, even if you play by yourself. It's unclear why this is required, but it is causing concern for many reasons. One of the big reasons among fans is that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will mark the final Batman performance from legendary actor Kevin Conroy. Some fear, rip, F's in chat for Kevin Conroy, dude. Some fear that if and when the servers go offline for this game, fans won't be able to enjoy the actor's last performance without watching it on YouTube. It's definitely a bummer, but maybe there will be a way to prevent that if the game goes offline. Here's the other thing that we watched a gameplay of this. I didn't even know this was going to be like a loot and shoot game, but apparently it is, and it could be good, right? It could be good, but there's always worries around loot and shoot games like this with Yo, Miss Drizzler, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yo, that hype, dude, that Elmo hype. There's always concerns with loot and shoot games and how well they're developed, especially when you get like mid to end game. Is it going to start feeling real Monka? Dude, nah, Miss Drizzler just came in with a raid, dude. We're good. Psych, nice, dude. Mid to late game, is this game going to be feeling was Monka Hum not spelled right, dude? What was that? Did it not come up right? Is something wrong with our emotes? There it is. Oh, okay, cool. Nice sec. Mid to late game and loot and shooters, if it's developed well, then it continues to feel fresh, and it usually they'll have a really good end game, where you want to keep grinding and keep playing the game and trying to get better gear and better loot, and they'll have harder raids and things like that. But quite often, loot and shoot games fell on that front as well, and it just gets repetitive, and it doesn't feel worth continuing to grind, and it loses its edge for a lot of people that play those games, where they're like, this is getting boring, I'm going to play something else, So we'll have to see how that goes. The other thing about this game that is really, really concerning for me is the monetization that's going on. They're going to want you to pay for this game up front, right? So we're talking probably $60, $70, which is, $70 obviously becoming the norm nowadays, unfortunately. And then you're talking about they've got a battle pass in the game. We already know they have a microtransaction shop. We already know that they're coming out with DLC characters that are going to cost afterwards. It's nonstop money, man. Nonstop money that you're going to be pouring into this title. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes when it releases. You know, maybe it'll feel good, and they'll continue to bring content in the game, which will make people feel like it'll be worth investing a little bit of extra money in the game as we move forward. But on release, to have a game cost out the gate that much, and then them also wanting you to pour that much money into it as well for the extra kind of stuff, feels kind of, actually not kind of, it feels really gross to me. And we don't even know how. The other thing is how there's something to be said for games. If you guys haven't seen this trailer, you should watch it. We've seen it a couple of times over the past couple of days. The characters in the game, the mobility of them is insane. There's something to be said for good mobility in a game, but dude, these characters are all over the place. And I'll tell you what, like Harley Quinn looks like she's flying around like Spider-Man. Yeah, same here, Miss Bat, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, there has to be something really, really special going on for me to want to invest that much into. You know. But if you go look at it, like all these characters, there's only one of these characters lore-wise that really has the ability to like fly around and stuff. But if you go look at the game, they're all over the place, man. They're just like, from what I understand anyways, lore-wise, there's only one of these characters that can really fly around. But Harley Quinn's like using ropes to fly around. She looks like Spider-Man, dude. She's like flipping off the end of these ropes and stuff. And there's something to be said for good mobility in a game, but it seems a little bit maybe too absurd to me almost, you know. I don't know, let me know what you think. Yeah, I'll link this for you guys, but there are definitely some concerns about this game coming out. And the thing is, dude, I'm all about like villains and anti-heroes and stuff, you know. Like the superhero thing is not my jam. I like the villains, I like so this kind of game is more up my alley, but it's the things that I know about it right now that are really kind of turning me off. You should watch it. The gameplay trailer that just came out, it was showcased during the PlayStation State of Play event that happened a couple of days ago. What day was that on? That was Thursday. It was Thursday afternoon it happened. But there's a PlayStation State, but you can find it like on YouTube or whatever. Just look for the gameplay of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's probably at this link. Hold on. Here, you guys want to watch it? Well, let's watch it real quick, okay? Check it out. I'll let you guys check it out. It's pretty lengthy, so but it's like 6 minutes. But I'll let you check it out. What it's all about.
Let's bust something up.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a sec. Hello, Brainiac. Is it happening now? Great. You will have Luther ASAP. Good news! You want Luther, all you have to do is come and get him. Flash is alive.
And he has Luther.
One damn thing at a time. That artillery is gonna wreak havoc on our front line. If there's a snowball's chance in hell you can destroy it, I expect you to. No matter the cost. Are we clear?
Yeah. Where the snowball?
Time to light them all up.
Incoming Ollie! Out of my way.
Guess Quinn ain't holding anything back for later.
Hold my beer, guys. Let's dance! Ah! That's gonna leave a mark. Focus our fire on this tank. Why do we never get reinforcements?
Thunder upon this tank.
I love King Shark, by the way, though.
Gotcha, mate.
What a cool character. King Shark in the movie is so funny, dude.
Love explosion. Up high. Incoming.
Send this chopper flying!
Roger that, Quinn. Eyes up. We got more company. Go, Shark, go. Senseless violence. Love it. Nail that weak spot, squad. No worries. Boom! Job done. You came through, Boomer. Just call me the pinball wizard.
Unstoppable!
Quinn, there's more of them.
Thank you!
I mean, she's literally Spider-Man, dude.
Die already! Guys, this one won't die already!
Spider-Man with guns.
Oh, come on!
Like, it's pretty wild.
The boom!
Huge target. Get on it now.
Rising like a wave!
This is our chance!
Boom!
Ouch!
I love our escapades.
I mean, it could quite possibly feel really good having that much mobility. It just seems weird for these characters to be able to do that kind of stuff. They're not normally known for it, you know. In my opinion.
So, how'd the whole taking down the Flash thing go?
Still in play? Now get out of my way. I have work to do.
Well, hey there, sleepyhead. We've got an interrogation to get back to. Hey. You think I'm just gonna let you walk away? And tell these guys everything you know? You think they can stop us? Pathetic.
Pathetic? At least I'm not a big hero turned stooge for a spaceman.
Okay, Boomerang. You want to see what a real hero can do? I'll show you.
Flash, how do I stop this? Please, tell me how.
You have to kill us, Diana. We have to die to save the world.
So that's the gameplay trailer that just came out a few days ago, you know. Could be good, dude. Well, I mean, I think the biggest turnoff for me is just the monetization. It just seems so scummy already, you know. We'll see though. I love loot and shooters, man. So I hope it's good, but I'm really just. You guys know I talk about it all the time. I talk about how terrible of an obstacle monetization is in the gaming world nowadays, you know, and It just this is one of those occasions where you can if all of what we've heard is being incorporated in this game, it's literally a combination of everything that is like kind of scummy about it'd be different if this was free to play. You know, I would have a much different viewpoint on this game in a free to play space. If it was free to play out the gate and they were like, okay, we're gonna have a battle pass, we're gonna have some like microtransaction shop for, and look, I'm not about microtransaction shops being pay to win, but to have like some cosmetics in there, stuff like that, maybe even some quality of life stuff. Okay, cool. Certain types of games have like some pay to progress kinds of things for like MMOs. Okay. But pay to win stuff, I'm not a fan of at all. And so some like if it was a free to play title and to be incorporating pay to win, kind of feels Suicide Squad ish though. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, but it would still feel gross. But I mean, just the fact that you know this game's gonna cost, you know, basically like a AAA price point out the gate, and then pay for Battle Pass if you want the premium side of it, which you don't have to, but if you do, you're gonna pay for it, and also for microtransaction shop, and they've already announced they've got DLC characters lined up to come out that you're gonna have to pay for and stuff. You know, that's one of those things. The DLC stuff's one of those things I talk about all the time. There's so many games that come out that you know, it's like a month to a month and a half after the game releases, it's already DLCs plopped out for it, and it's like, man, you know that content was ready, right? You paid $70 for that game, maybe more if you got an enhanced version, and if the DLC content that comes out after wasn't part of like a battle or like a season pass or whatever for the game that you got on an enhanced version, then they want you to pay, you know, another $40 for the DLC that you know was already ready for that game. It's just a big scheme for money, man. And you know, then the industry's going, well, we haven't raised prices on games for 20 years. It's like, dude, you haven't needed to. You haven't needed to raise prices on games for 20 years because you've come up with so many other ways to scheme money out of people for so long that there's been no need for games to increase in price, man. And now they're increasing them now to $70, which is going to be the norm, and it's like it just feels gross. So we'll see how Suicide Squad does, though. This is another article. Everything that's wrong. What's this saying, dude? Oh. Yeah, this is this author's take. They actually had it down in the bottom. This author's take on why the game looks so bad to them too, and you know, yeah, I'll take a look if you want. We can just talk about a lot of it, but that's their take on why Suicide Squad looks bad. I won't spend more time on it. This is the last article I have for the day, guys. Then we're gonna get into some gaming stuff, which will be Bloodstained Day 3, baby. But if anybody has anything to add that maybe we haven't talked about today or previous news segments or whatever that you would like to discuss, bring up, let me know in chat, man, and we'll take a look at it before we head into our gaming stuff for the day, okay? Amazon Luna might bring Fortnite on board to revamp its cloud gaming selection. Huh. Gamers might be able to play Fortnite for free on an all-new cloud platform. Once upon a time in the magical world of cloud gaming, Amazon Luna was known as the ultimate gaming platform. However, it has recently been leaving gamers with limited options. In a bid to keep up, Luna is rumored to be adding Fortnite, one of the world's most popular games developed by Epic. A Reddit user stumbled upon Fortnite in their library, only to see it disappear quickly. The game was marked as not available, but it had the latest version of the game with artwork from Chapter 4 Season 1 trailer in place. To the surprise of the user, they were able to link their Epic Games account, a functionality that Amazon Luna did not previously have. Excited gamers will be able to play Fortnite for free on the cloud platform as long as they have an Amazon Prime subscription or an Amazon Luna Plus account. This news brings hope to many gamers who have been limited by Luna's dwindling game selection. Luna lost more than 50 games from its Luna Plus subscription this month. We just read about this a few days ago in the news, including titles such as Snake Pass, Retro Classic, Gate of Doom, Bridge Constructor Portal. This is in line with the Amazon Luna's goal of keeping their selection as fresh as possible and offering a wide array of high-quality immersive games to customers. As the world of cloud gaming continues to evolve, Amazon Luna is taking a step forward by bringing Fortnite to its library, offering gamers a chance to experience the game on a different platform. Yeah, we'd heard Luna might not be doing great right now. They've been losing a lot of games and not adding a whole lot. But adding Fortnite would potentially be a very good play. Yeah. So we'll see if that, I mean, that's a pretty good look at the fact that it's probably being implemented. It wasn't supposed to be made public. That's a pretty safe bet there, but it did for a very short amount of time. Somebody caught it. So interesting. The cloud gaming space is very tough right now. You know, outside of Xbox and Nvidia, it's a tough spot to be in. We've seen Stadia shut down recently. There's talk of Luna not doing very well. It's a tough space, man. It's a tough space, especially with those two juggernauts at the head of it. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But them's the breaks, man. That's video gaming news for today, February 26th. Man, we're gonna move on to some Bloodstained Ritual of the Night for day 3. This will be day 3 of our playthrough. We just got double jump at the end of the stream yesterday, which was awesome. And we'll see what we can get done today, man. It's a very cool game. It is the spiritual successor to my favorite Metroidvania of all time, which is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which we're going to play after we beat Bloodstained. So we're going to play through this. Then we're going to go back and play the retro predecessor to Bloodstained, which is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and it should be a good time. But to everybody that was here and part of the new segment today, thank you very much. And everybody that's always part of what we do here in this community, you're amazing, and I appreciate it. So if anybody is checking out our content, whether it be VODs on YouTube or highlights on the Twitch page, our news segments, playthroughs, episodes of playthroughs that we've done, or highlights and clips of just funny stuff that's happening here in the community, and you're enjoying the content, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with us when we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. We start off all of our streams with video gaming news before we jump into whatever gaming content we have planned for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, you guys just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. We'll catch everybody tomorrow for February 27th edition of Video Gaming News, all right?